What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I was actually going to film the replacement of my taillights to LED taillights, but as I was doing the filming and doing the whole replacement, I found that there's a lot of things that is wrong with the car. To make light of things, I'm going to make this video more for the people that are going to buy a classic Mustang and what to look out for. So I'll start off with the taillights. This one you can't really look at while you're buying it unless the previous owner lets you take apart the taillights, but I'll show you guys what I mean. So I was taking apart the taillights, and the housing, it's actually really rusted. If you actually come across this, then you can see these little brown spots. That means it's time for a replacement, and if there's actual rust on here, I'd rather be safe than sorry and then replace the whole thing. As I started seeing all the small little things, it's starting to build up, and that got me to start poking around the whole car. So this is just the start of things. I'll show you guys what else to look for. Another thing to look at is the actual gas tank itself. This whole thing is actually the gas tank, and if you look at mine, it's actually only held in by one bolt. Okay, so moving on to the rims. In one of my previous videos, I showed you guys the replacement of the aftermarket rims onto my Mustang, and what I should have done was actually replace the two on my driver's side, because when I came to this side and tried to take off the hubcap, this is what I came to. Two of these bolts are actually stripped, and I can't even put lug nuts on here. So oh my gosh. Look at that. I can actually do it by hand. Whenever you guys do buy a classic Mustang, make sure to check under the hubcaps, because these are very essential to your safety. Another thing to check for on the exterior is to see if the keyholes work. So it definitely works, and I locked it, so make sure it locks. And then okay, it unlocked. The window is definitely a thing that you're going to have to look at. If it's like this, see, one side is upwards, that means the window actuator is probably broken or it's worn down, so you're gonna have to fix that. I didn't know this at first, but if you look next to the pedals, so the gas, the brake, the clutch, this little lever right here, if you press it down, that's the high beam. All I knew about was this lever, which is for the headlights. If you pull it, that means the headlights are on. That's how you turn it off. I know you probably won't be able to do this with the cars that you guys are trying to buy, but if the owner allows, try taking off the whole instrument panel. Alright, so I opened up the dash, and this is how it looks like inside. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to check out this far inside the car, because the owners probably won't let you do this and tear apart the interior, but look at that. That harness is completely destroyed. I have no idea what that is, but that actually might contribute to why it's smoking in there. And if you look at the side metal portions, there is definitely a bit of surface rust. That way you guys can tell if the cowl is good or bad. And another way to check is going under and checking from the bottom. Another big thing is to check the windshield to see if there's any leaks that may happen when it rains. So one way to check is to pour water on the outside and then see if any water comes through, and to see if these rubber portions are a little bit softer or harder. Mine are definitely hard, and I'm definitely going to have to replace it regardless, because there's a bunch of cracked portions, and I'm gonna be doing that in a future video. But yeah, always make sure to check if the windshield is in good condition. For my car, there was no headliner, so I didn't have to worry about that. But if your headliner is in bad condition for a Mustang, you're definitely going to have to take off the front windshield and the rear windshield to reinstall a new headliner. So if the headliner itself is in bad condition, just be aware and make sure to know that you're going to have to do a whole headliner. One other thing that you guys are definitely going to have to look at is under the carpets. So if you can, lift under the carpets and check out the metal. Mine, it came like this and it was sprayed down with bed liner, but I was poking around because I thought there was a weird spot, and before all of this happened, it was spots like this. So I poked at it and ew, look at that. It's like fabric-like material. I think that's what kept the moisture, and there are bits of surface rust. So in a future video, I'm probably going to be cutting down this whole thing. I already did a little bit of it with a wire brush, and it seems like the metal isn't in good condition. Besides that, if you want to check out anything else, be sure that you have all the stereos and all the speakers, because mine came with nothing, and for me that doesn't really matter because I wasn't really looking into having a sound system or anything. But yeah, make sure to check for everything before you purchase the Mustang. Now for the engine. Last time I checked this rubber hosing and it was completely cracked on the edge, so I had to cut off and reinsert with the cut off portion. So the engine, I'm not too sure on how to check everything, but if you guys have acid buildup like I do, I've already cleaned this once, so this battery is probably old and I'll probably have to replace it. So if you guys see signs of acid corrosion, you'll probably end up having to replace the battery as well. Another thing that I saw was there was a lot of gas buildup, or not gas buildup, but a gas leak almost in these portions, and it's only on the left side, the passenger side, and I'm not sure why. It's over there and over here. So those 3 holes or 4 holes are what are filling up with gasoline. Another thing that I found was this little thing in the back right here. If I look at all the tubing, look at that. That one's locked off or closed off. This one circulates into each other, and then this one's closed off as well. So yeah, I have no idea what this is. Let me know if you guys know what that is, because that seems counterintuitive where it's just completely blocked off and recirculating into itself. The last thing that I can tell you guys what to check for, that I would know what to check for, is to check the underside of the car itself. Make sure that you can see no signs of rust, and if there are signs of rust, you should probably check it out even further or see what you can do and poke around if you can. If it pokes through, that means it's no good. I hope I was able to point out some things that you're supposed to look for in buying a classic Mustang. I wish I knew what to look for inside the Mustang before I bought this one, but I guess that's the learning process, right? I'm going to be refurbishing the whole car completely, so it doesn't really matter for me, but for the people that want a running car, a turnkey car, you're gonna have to look at all the things I mentioned plus more, because you don't want a car that's a rust bucket or a car that's not in running condition. If you guys do end up buying a car like mine, you will see how I fix up the car, so future videos that I will be putting out are definitely going to be able to help you. So don't forget to give me a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.